Hello everyone, welcome to Unshackling Sudokus and Puzzles. Today's video will be on a classic Sudoku created by Sulphur. I've solved this Sudoku already and this is a really excellent and very challenging classic Sudoku. This is titled A Cruel Joke by the author. Normal classic Sudoku rules apply. Each row, each column and 3 by 3 box in the grid has digits 1 to 9. Having solved the Sudoku already, this particular classic has an excellent bag of tricks in it, and one which I found very enjoyable. It took me close to half an hour to complete the classic Sudoku. It's a very hard classic Sudoku, so solve this at your leisure because this will take some time to get through it logically. Now let's start the Sudoku. 1 in columns 1 and 2, that gives me a 1 here. 1 is in rows 1 and 3, so there is a pointing pair of 1s, and 1 is not in row 5 and column 9 of box 6, so 1 goes here, and that puts 1 in column 7. Okay, the other boxes have lots of possibilities for 1, so let's move on. Look at column 8 and these 3 cells in particular. 3, 8, 9, 2, 4 and 7 are eliminated from these 3 cells, so which means there will be a 1, 5, 6 triplet in here. So this will be 1, 6, 5, 6 and 1, 5, 6. Excellent. And now these 3 cells, the remaining 3 cells in that column have to take 3, 8, 9. And of course, you can't have 8 here, so that's a 3 and a 9. Now, if you look at this box, where does the 7 go? 7 is locked in here, and that gives a 2, 4 pair in here. Excellent. So that gives us some momentum to work around column 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 and 7, so the remaining digits are of course 6, 8 and 9. Excellent. Now let's continue. Okay, let's look at the 5s and do some corner marking. 5 in column 3 goes in here. 5 in box 3 goes in here because you can't have 5 in any other cells. Okay, 5 in column 5 has to be in one of these 2 cells. That's excellent. And that's about it with the 5s. Look at the 3 in box 4. Just 1 cell left. 3 has to be here. And in row 6 now the 3 is reduced to these 2 cells. And in box 8, 3 must be in these 2 cells. That's a very peculiar way to do some pencil marking, but still we'll have that. Okay, 3 in column 3 has to be in one of these 2 cells. And in box 3, there are 3 possibilities, so I'm not going to mark that in. Let's continue now. 9s in columns 1 and 3, so that gives me a hidden single. I get my 9 there, so that removes the 9 from this cell. This becomes a 3, 8. That's excellent. Now looking at the 9s. 9 in box 2 has 3 options. 9 in box 3 has again 3 options. Okay, there are multiple options for the 9 everywhere I see. Maybe let's look at the 8s. 8 must be in one of these 2 cells in box 7, and that puts 8 in one of these 2 cells in box 1. Okay, so 1, 3, 5, 9 and 8. The remaining digits are 2, 4, 6 and 7. So this will be 6, 7. Okay. Okay, let's look at column 1 now. These 2 cells in particular, they can't be 2, 9, 1, 3, 5 and 8. So 4, 6 and 7. And you can't have 4 in here, so that's 6, 7. This will be 4, 6 and 7. Okay. Now if you look closely, 7 in row 3 must be in one of these two cells, and 7 in box 7 also has to be in one of these two columns. So basically in column 2, 7 will be in one of these two cells, which means this cannot be a 7, that's a 4 and 6. Now look at these two cells, they can't be 1, 2, 9, 3, 5 and 7. So these would be a 4, 6, 8. Okay, that's excellent. And now looking at these cells, 2, 9, 1, 3, 5 are eliminated. So 4, 6, 7, 8. So this is 6, 7, 8. And this would be 4, 7 and 8. Okay. Now let's look at row 7. Look at this cell in particular, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 and 7. So that leaves us exactly 2 digits for this cell, which are 1 and 9. Interesting. Okay, look at this cell now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 are eliminated. So that leaves only a bi-value candidate for this cell, 1 and 6. Excellent. Now this row is almost done. And if you see where the 7 goes in row 7, 7 must be in one of these two cells. So that eliminates 7 from this cell. So it's a 4 or 8. And the 7 in box 8 must be in these two cells. Okay. So you can see that the Sudoku is progressing briskly, but it isn't giving substantial progress. We are getting digits here and there, but and a lot of pencil marks, but still it hasn't become easy or anything. Okay, let's continue. Look at row 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 and 6. So this has to be 8 and 9. No other digit is possible there. And now looking at row 3 and this cell particularly, 2, 3, 4, 1, 7, 8, 9. So this is 5 or a 6. Excellent. And this cell can't take 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 and 9. So this is 5, 6 and 7. So now if you take a global look and see row 3, 5, 6, 7 triplet is in there. So which means these two cells cannot take 5, 6 or 7. So this has to be 8 or a 9. So I have an 8, 9 triplet pair now in row 3. Okay. Let's do some more marking. Look at these two cells. They are very restricted. 2, 3, 5, 7, 1 and 9. So these two have to contain 4, 6, 8. And of course 6 is not in this cell and 8 is not in this cell. Okay. And there we have a triplet right away. The moment I made some pencil marks here, you have a 4, 6, 8 triplet. And couple that with 1, 5, 7, 9 in row 1, you must have a 2, 3 pair, right? And 2 in here gives me a 3 in here, gives a 2 in here. Excellent. So what next? Okay. Okay, interesting. Look where the 9 goes in row 3 and row 7. So we have an X swing. When you reduce the possibility of a digit into exactly 2 rows and 2 columns, you call that an X swing. The reason being, if you have 9 in, let me highlight these two cells first using green and these two cells using green. So the reason why it's called an X swing is if you have a 9 in row 3 in this cell, the 9 in row 7 goes here, right? And if you have a 9 in row 3 in this cell, the 9 in row 7 goes here. So basically you have an X swing, right? An X-shaped kind of thing going on. So that's why it's called an X swing. So the moment you have such a pattern, you can eliminate 9 from the remaining cells in those 2 columns. 9 cannot be in any of these cells because 9 has to be in one of these two cells and 9 has to be in one of these two cells. Consequently, I can eliminate 9 from the rest of the cells in that column. So this can't be a 9. And this cannot be a 9. Okay, you have 9s in rows 4 and 6, so 9 has to be in one of these two cells. It cannot be here because of the X-wing. And this cannot be a 9. So 1, 5, 7, 8, 4 and 6. So these would have to be... okay, let me first write some possibilities here. These would be 2, 3, 9. Right? It can't be 1, 5, 7, 8 and 4 and 6. So 2, 3 and 9. And this, of course, cannot be a 9. So it's 2 and 3. Excellent. I have a triplet now. 2, 3, 9 in row 9. So which means the remaining digits must be 4 and 6 in the row. Excellent. That was very, very nice. So what do I do next? Okay, so we have a finned X-wing going on at this point in the Sudoku. First, let me remove these highlighted cells. You can see that in many of the rows, 6 is occurring in patches. By patches, I mean you can see that it's occurring in it's occurring in 2 or 3 or 4 cells, right? So you must have guessed there is something going on with the 6s. Look at a row 3 and a row 9. These are the only cells which can take 6 in those two rows. So we almost have an X-wing now in rows 3 and 9. If there is no 6 in this cell, imagine for a second there is no 6 in that cell, the cell with the blue box, then we would have had an X-wing, right? But because we have one more cell which can take a 6, we have what we call as a finned X-wing. The elimination is restricted only to the cell which has the fin. So normally we would have eliminated the 6 from all these cells because of the X-wing. But because there is a fin here, an extra 6 here, the elimination occurs only in these two cells. So basically this cell cannot take a 6. The reason being, let's see, you have a 6 here. Then the 6 goes into this cell in row 9. Now you don't have space for a 6 in row 3, right? So let's go back, and this cell can't take a 6. So 1, 2, 3, 9, 6 and 8. So it has to be 4, 5 and 7. Excellent, right? And 7 is also not possible. So 4 and 5. So the finned X-wing has given rise to one more elimination. Okay. So it was at this point that it took me a huge amount of time to continue in the Sudoku. Actually, if you look deeper, there is a lot of things going on with the 6s at this point. We just did a finned X-wing elimination, but still there is quite a lot of stuff going on with the 6s in particular. So before showing what happens, what is going on with the 6s, I want to show something else. 1, 3, 5, 9, 6 and 8. So this the 2 in this box has only one option left. 2 has to go here. Okay, right. So I was trying to do a lot of stuff by combining digits, inventing chains, whatnot, until I found this. So the first thing to realize is whatever goes in here has to be here. Now, at first instance, it's hard to see kind of, because if you have a 4, then 4 is forced here without any doubt. But the thing to see is if it's a 6, then 6 can be in either of these cells. So you can't straight away deduce that 6 has to be here. But the thing is, if the 6 in this cell goes into this cell, look what happens. Let's highlight that. The 6 in row 9 is forced here, and now there is no space for 6 in row 3. This is eliminated, and this is eliminated, right? So which is why whatever goes in here has to be here. We already started with the 4. 4, if 4 is here, 4 is forced here. And if 6 is here, 6 cannot go here because then row 3 will have no 6. So whatever goes in here has to be here. So that's the first thing to see. And now this is the conjugate of that. So let's use a different color. So it's a green. Beautiful, right? Now we know a distance remote pair. If you have a 4 here, a 6 goes here. And if you have a 6 here, a 4 goes here because they are of opposite colors. Now this is what got me going in the Sudoku, because I've simply stuck at this point without any sort of clue whatsoever, right? So at this point, I deduced that this cell can't take a 6. Very, very interesting. Let's see what happens if that is a 6. We will track our progress by marking pinks. So if this cell is a 6, now the green can't take a 6, so this cell becomes a 6. Let's mark it using a pink. Now look at row 3. This is not a 6. This is not a 6. So only this cell can take a 6. Right? Now I have a 6 here. I have a 6 here. There is no space for 6 in box 7. So what do you think about this deduction? Amazing, right? I actually spent quite a bit of time to see if there is something else at this point in the Sudoku, but I could not see any other logic. So if you guys managed to unearth a different logic at this point or continued using a different way, please do let me know. So it will be nice to acknowledge your comment. So basically this cannot be a 6 because that forces 6 in here. We understood that these are different digits. So 6 here forces 6 here, which forces 6 here, and then there is no space for 6 in box 7. Excellent. So let's put the 1 in here, which means this is a 9, which means this is not a 9, that's a 2-3 pair, and which is instantly deduced. That's a 2, that's a 3, that gives a 9 here, which means this will be 6-8 and 6-8, 6-8. So 9 goes here, right? Which means this is 8 and that gives a 4, which gives a 6, which gives a 8. So that's a 4 and a 6. Excellent. And 9 here eliminates 9 from this cell. Okay. Right, look at these 3 cells along column 5. They must take 1, 2 and 5. Let's put that in 1, 2, 5. So no 5 here, no 1 here. Okay, now I had marked 3 in one of these 2 cells in row 6. Now that 3 goes here. Right, so box 8 has 2, 3, 6, 8, 4, 5 and 9. So it would be 1 and 7 here, and these 2 cells must be 1 and 9. Okay. Okay, in this column, where does the 8 go? Column 6, there is only one cell left. 8 has to be in this cell. So that puts an 8 here, which forces the 9 into this cell. So these 2 can be resolved now. So that is 1, that is 9. And now in this 1 here resolves these 2 cells, 7 and 1. Okay, and column 4 can be completed. This has to be a 4. These would be 6 and 7. That's excellent. Okay. Okay, 4 here. So that puts a 6 in here, which puts a 7 here. And that finishes off this column. It has to be an 8. This would be 4. This would be 6. This is 7. 6 here gives a 4. And let's finish off this row. This would be 3, 8 pair. And this has to be a 6 now. That gives 8 here, which gives 3 here. Okay, so let's finish off box 1. 6 in here gives a 6 here. And these would be 5, 6, right? 5, 6. And that 6 there gives a 6 in here, a 5 in here. Now this would be a 4 5, and that can be resolved. So that is a 5, that is a 4. So I need 2 4 7 here. So this would be 2 4, this would be 2 7, this would be 2 4 7. Okay, this can be resolved. So that's a 7 and that's a 6. 7 right here gives a 2 here, a 4 here, a 7 here. That 4 gives a 4 here, a 2 here, 5 here, 6 here, 1 here, 5 here. This would be 1 2, so that can be resolved, and we can finish off the Sudoku just like that. So what a brilliant Sudoku, guys. And but I don't think this was a cruel joke in any way. It was an excellent solve, one which is very difficult to deduce. For me, the deduction was finding that you can't that this cell can't take a 6. The rest of the things were like finned x-wings and x-wing at the start, but finding this one right here, to which I can't put a name to, is something that really turned the Sudoku and was hard for me. So hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you soon again. Until then, do remember to subscribe to the channel, and please do leave a like for the video. See you soon. Bye bye.